everybody. Thanks for coming out to our special event here with the 2020 C8 Corvette. I'm Mike Garland. I'm the Public Relations Manager, and we appreciate you being here. Social media posts, you can utilize hashtag Corvettes at Carlisle. And of course, we're on Facebook at Corvettes at Carlisle as well. Twitter is at Carlisle Events. So we're super excited to have Team Chevrolet here in full force. Not only did they bring us 2 beautiful C8s for their display over here, but all of a sudden there's 5.5 more over here. So we'll introduce Lance Miller, co-owner of Carlisle Events, and he will have a few introductory words for everybody, and then we'll turn it over to Team Chevrolet, and you will learn all about this beautiful car and be able to take some pictures. When we're done here, then you can also go over to the box and take some pictures of the cars in there as well. So, Lance, the floor is yours.
Can I say game changer? What do you guys think? Unbelievable. They knocked it out of the park. I am absolutely floored. Quite frankly, we've been through, we all have. I mean, a lot of people have watched the different generations launch. This is truly a game changer. I have goosebumps still, just standing in here, because this is history. This is absolute history. I'm excited to be a part of it. I can't imagine how this entire team from Chevrolet feels. You guys killed it. Thank you. Thank you so much, because you made this a totally different hobby. You're going to be bringing in a whole new clientele. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And please give them a round of applause, because they deserve it. So we are going to get slammed today. It's going to be awesome. I'm glad you guys are here to take a good close look at the cars, enjoy it. And that's all I've got. I'm just thankful to be here right now with all of you. So enjoy yourselves today and have fun. Tadge, you want to come up and say a few words? I'll put you on the spot, buddy. The chief engineer, and I'm sure there's plenty of the team that will be happy to talk to you as well. So, Tadge, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thanks, Lance. And it's really fitting, actually, that we're here today. This is the first Corvette customer event, so major Corvette-specific customer event that we're doing since the reveal. And I think as the biggest Corvette event in the world, it's very fitting that we're here so shortly after revealing this car. So everybody who's got a shirt like me, those dark shirts, is part of the Corvette team who's been working on this, pouring their blood, sweat, and tears into this car for many, many years, trying to bring us to the point where we are today. So we've got a bunch of pre-production cars out here that have been actually built in Bowling Green, so we're just starting to build some of these cars off the line. We're still producing the 7th generation car. We will be for another couple months, and we're just kind of training the operators and learning how to build this car. So we brought a bunch of the team here, both from Michigan where we design it and Bowling Green where we build it. They'll be in this tent all day, so here to answer your questions. We got a variety of cars in different colors here. We have more color choices, more options to customize the car than ever before. And then from a design and engineering perspective, having the rolling chassis here is really our pride and joy, showing what's under the skin that makes this car a world-beating sports car. We've evolved over generations, learning new technologies. The car's been composite-based for a long time. We use a mix of composite and metals, aluminum, magnesium. There's not much steel left in the car, but all to make it very light, very stiff, and then lots of exotic composites to round out the car. So you can see a lot of that content in this rolling chassis, so be sure and take a look at that. So, you know, we've announced, how many, did you guys all see the reveal? I assume you kind of you have some idea what the car is all about. I said we've been working on it for many, many years. We had to figure out how to get more weight on the back end of the car, so that meant putting the engine in the back, but then how do you keep all the rest of what's great about Corvette? So, you know, we've evolved the car to be having a lot of bandwidth. It's great as a daily driver. I was talking about this ahead of time. Great as a daily driver, great as a long distance country tour, also great as a track weapon. And so we had to figure out that formula, which meant making it fit into people's lives very well, having a lot of utility around the car. Having the standard removable roof panel, which we've had since the 4th generation car, and then not having to leave it in the garage when you want to take it off, that was a big deal. How do you design a car where this rigid roof can come out and fit in the back end of the car when there's an engine back there? That was a big part of the challenge of doing the car and not having it come looking like it's towing a trailer. I mean, we could have done a traditional sort of car and just extended the back to be able to fit the roof in, but it would have looked bad. We didn't want that. It wanted to look like a very integrated design, wanted to make the greenhouse on the top of the car look like it was very integrated into the body of the car. We had to figure out all the aerodynamics. Putting a trunk in the back means special challenges for evacuating hot air out of the engine compartment. You can see our solution is put these very large intakes on the quarter panel. The lead-in for it starts actually in the door. If you open this door, you'll see it's a very unusual shape, very deep scallop to start to get the air curving in to get into the engine compartment. The top third of this opening is actually where the engine breathes. The bottom 2/3 is air going into the engine compartment. When you get Z51, you get an extra heat exchanger in there. There's powered fans on both sides. And those are there to push air through the engine compartment and out the sides and back of the car. And then we had to use lots of insulating material to make sure the trunk stayed reasonably cool. So we knew we could put a trunk in the front. That had its own special challenges. We had to put the heat exchangers outboard here. You can't put the radiator right on center line because we needed to have a front trunk, what we call a front. That was a big packaging challenge, but we wanted to make sure the car was extremely robust on the track, and we validated the Z51 to extreme track performance, so pro driver, 100 degrees, air conditioning on, that kind of validation of the track performance. So figuring out all the thermodynamic kind of work was a major challenge with the car, and it's a big reason the car looks the way it does. Everything, all the features that you see on it are highly functional, and they need to be that way to get all of the great attributes of the Corvette into this architecture and make it all work together. So that's just a few of the highlights. I mean, you can see some of the design features here with the functional vents that are integrated into the hatch. There's a mail slot. Back here we actually cantilever the rear glass. All of that is to let, when you're in city traffic moving slowly and you don't have a bunch of ram air coming in the side, you have to have a place for that to escape. Warm air rises, and so you really want to get as much air out of here as possible so it doesn't go back and heat up the trunk. So that's why we have these very large design iterations, these very large vents in here. Another cool feature is many cars now have camera rear view mirror, and we do too. Most everybody else puts the camera on the back end of the car. We actually put ours on the roof, right up here. And so you have a high definition camera, 60 frames a second, so very fast frame rate, so moving things stay nice and smooth. And the thing that's really cool about this is it stays really clean. It might look like we just designed a little fun-looking fin that leads into it. That's actually to route dirt and air, water away from the camera lens. Yesterday we drove from Michigan, went through a hell of a rainstorm. All the water went around, and that vision stayed perfectly clear. So it's amazing to see that at times when your eyes actually aren't good enough to see out the back, the camera can actually see in lighting conditions and weather conditions where you wouldn't be able to see in a conventional car. This car, you can actually see it through the mirror. So lots of really fun, cool features like that. One of the most popular ones is a front lift feature. So sports cars are naturally low to the ground. Corvettes historically, because of the underbody aerodynamics, you could scrape the air dams. This car starts better, but when you get the front lift, it's really good. It's just a button that you push right on the center console. There's 3 buttons there, traction control off. Front camera, if you want the front cameras, or the front lift system. You hit that button as you approach an obstacle or a ramp or something. The front lifts up almost 2 inches, and goes down automatically after you get over the bump, and it reminds you, it asks you every time you hit it in a new unique location. It says, do you want to remember this? And all you have to do is a left click on the steering wheel, and it'll remember that location forever. So every time you approach that obstacle, it'll go up automatically. It's smart enough that they're coming fast. It starts lifting early. So if you're coming in faster than usual, you'll see the message come on, and it'll know it needs to get that nose up before you reach that obstacle. So really cool system. We are here at Carlisle because we like talking to customers. We'll get about 50,000 of them here over the weekend to talk about how they use their cars. That's an example of something that customers would really appreciate, and so we integrated into this car. So I could talk forever about this. I'm just sort of wandering aimlessly, but I'd be curious, since you guys have seen a lot of the reveal information, is there something else we can answer for you? So any questions? Yes. So the question is, when are we going to get it in Europe? We have not announced a European introduction date. We did announce at the reveal that we're intending to sell this globally, including right-hand drive. So Japan, UK, Australia, now we'll have a right-hand drive version. So traditionally we roll out export vehicles later, and I guess stay tuned, but it won't be too terribly long. More questions? Yes. So the question is, what kind of production numbers? We never forecast production. We're going to try to build as many as we can to meet customer demand. Initial indications is demand is going to be high. We predicted that, and so we're adding a second shift at Bowling Green. We're in the process of getting those employees hired, trained right now. So I can't predict. We never know, and usually the honest truth is we're usually capacity constrained at the beginning because more people want cars than we can produce, but we're adding a second shift, so we're going to try to meet demand the best we can. Yes, down here. So the question is, will there be a convertible? I always say they're all convertibles. Take the roof out, I was just talking about that. But a regular conventional convertible, full convertible, we actually teased that at the reveal. If you watched the last video, we actually showed a couple, if you freeze framed it, there was a couple of shots of a convertible top down. So yes, there will be one, and no, you won't have to wait too long for that one either. Is he allowed to ask a question? He's outside the Good question though. So one of our options, one that we're really proud of, if you walk around this fairgrounds, you'll notice a lot of people like to modify their cars. One of the things they like to do is decorate the engine compartment. You'll see a lot of the cars with the hood open. They want to show off their engine. They also want to decorate it as much as possible, enhance it, the appearance as much as possible. So we thought we'd offer a factory option. So what's the cost, Harlan? $995? It's a bargain. It's too cheap. Anyway, for $1,000 you get carbon fiber surrounds. So on either side of the engine, we close out with some thin carbon fiber panels, and then we add lights to the engine compartment. So whenever you open the hatch, the light will come on. So anytime as you approach the car and you hit the button or you engage the handle and you turn the lights on, you'll see that. Anytime you open the hatch, you'll see those lights on. It gives the whole engine a really nicely lit appearance. Those are two lights. They're actually under the hatch, so they open with the hatch. So the trunk is lit separately, and then the engine compartment is lit separately. But no, there's not a separate switch. It just comes on when the other lights come on. Yes, right here.
With the finishing car design, there's a lot of concern that maintenance costs skyrocket. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yes, the question was, are we going to have much higher maintenance costs with this car? Because historically, if you look at people who've done mid-engine cars, the maintenance cost is higher. We were very conscious of that going through the development. Wanted to make sure that normal maintenance was done as easily on this car as our front engine car. There's some operations that are probably a little bit more difficult, but the things that you think about, the questions I always get, how about the accessory drive belt? You can do that without dropping the engine. Changing plugs, you can do that without dropping the engine. So we spent a lot of time working with the service community to make sure those operations were as easy as possible. Wanted to minimize the number of special tools that you require. It needs to be serviced at the Chevy stores that are certified for Corvette. So we want to make sure that wasn't especially challenging. So the answer is yes. If you look at a bunch of exotics, the service costs are very high. We tried to keep it in line with other Chevy products and traditional Corvette costs. How about back here?
When can we expect these at dealerships?
When can we expect them at dealerships? So as I mentioned, we're going to keep building the current car for a couple more months. Then we have a dark period in Bowling Green. We do our last of our tool install and setup, getting ready for this. So right at the end of the year, we expect to start to make customer cars. So really, honestly, to get any volume of cars at dealerships, so anybody who's got one of the early orders, likely to be early next year.
So first quarter or end of first quarter?
Well, we should have cars out before the end of the first quarter.
Cool.
I would hope so. That's our plan, anyway.
Thank you.
Yes, right here.
I noticed on the 8-bill, it seems to be bolts on the
You're looking at the rolling chassis here. Actually, if you look at the structure, look all around it. We call it glued and screwed. So there's redundant mechanical attachments. So structural adhesive, and then also held together with flow drilled screws, which actually create their own threads and drive pieces of metal together. So you actually have redundancy in those joints to make them really, really strong. Yeah, it would hold together with just the glue, but we use the screws in process to help hold it together while the glue itself is setting. It's actually kind of an aerospace technology. Over here. Okay, last question. You don't have a question? So in terms of robotics in the assembly plant, if you look at the body shop, the structure we were just talking about, there is a lot of robotics. The rest of the plant is a lot of manual assembly. If you take a plant tour, Bowling Green, it'll look familiar to you in terms of the number of people online putting the car together. So in places where you need robotics, we use robots and automated equipment. Other places are craftsmanship and the way we put the car together. We use our workforce there in Bowling Green. And like I said, we're actually adding people in, training them up, because building a Corvette is not like building any other car. Go and assist. They'll be able to watch, not assist. Although you can build your own engine. We are planning on maintaining that through the life cycle of this. Okay, I think that was it. Are we last one? Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much. Enjoy the show. We'll be around all day today and tomorrow.
That's Juechter, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for here. For our media members that are here, you're welcome now to go across the street to the box and check out the cars and the accessories that are inside. It is a working room at this point, though, which can accommodate between 15 and 20 people at a time. So you can go in, you can gauge those interactions from the enthusiasts firsthand, and we'll just merge you in with the traffic as you work your way in. So that's happening there. There will also be product walkarounds at the stage today. So if you missed something here and you want to catch up with the team at the stage later on today, you can check our event schedule, which was provided in your press kit when you checked in, or just stop by here and talk to the folks one-on-one throughout the day. But they're going to be very, very busy fielding a lot of questions. So thank you very much for coming out. Coffee and donuts for our media members still back there in the corner. And have a great day here at the show.
Me too. What's up? What's going on, Keith?
How you doing, buddy?